Hello everybody and welcome to another video. And before you go and dislike it just because of the name of it, please at least hear me out for a minute or two and I might just change your mind. First off, I'm going to talk about the good parts of Ori. I really love the gameplay of it and I love the save mechanics. The gameplay is so fun, fast-paced and challenging, except for few parts which I'm gonna mention in the second part of the video where I just talk about the cons of it. The attacks and the movement abilities are really amazing. There are your usual dashes, double jumps, wall climbing, everything is there. And it's not really that original, but what it does well, so that's okay. The second thing that I want to talk about are the save mechanics. It basically lets you save with your mana or energy points. I really forgot how they call it in the game. At the start, it's actually important that you don't save too often because you're not gonna have energy to fight enemies, because that same energy is used for offensive abilities. So you gotta use it sparingly before certain parts that you know that you're gonna have to repeat many times, which is amazing. But later on in the game, it just becomes too common. I had, 8 or somewhere around 8 or 10 energy points, and I invested in abilities that reduce the amount of energy required to save, so I might as well have saved on every second step that the main character made. It just didn't make any difference. But the problem is, and now I'm getting into the parts of the game that I disliked, which led to the name of the video and me actually making it. There are parts of the game where you go into a gauntlet of enemies or traps and there is no way to save during them. They can take anywhere from 2 to 3 minutes, or in my case half an hour, because many of them aren't really visible. So many times I was running and jumping and everything seems awesome and I get hit by a rock, and that rock came from nowhere. It came from above and I just died. The problem is I couldn't save anywhere on the way because the game doesn't let you save in dangerous places, which in my opinion would be the only place where it should let you save, but oh well, I'm not a game programmer, so what do I know? And it really started to grind my gear towards the end, because the last part you fly from this main antagonist, and I'm gonna get to that later on too when I talk about the story, which I dislike greatly. The whole gauntlet is around 5 minutes. And you start running and using all of your abilities, and it's really interesting. At the start, you see where you gotta go, but later on, at a certain part, I had to repeat it out 20 times because there was nothing telling me, there was nothing on the screen showing me where to go. It turns out that I just need to use the ability to take a leaf and fly with the winds upstream. It would have been fixed if there were some debris going up, or leaves, or lights, because there are many lights in this game. That would be a way to fix it, and it would have taken like 5 seconds to do it, I'm quite sure. But no, they didn't do it, and because of it I had to repeat it like 20 times, and that took, instead of just being a fast-paced run to escape from the main enemy, instead of taking 5 minutes, it took 30, and I really disliked that. And it happened around 3-4 times during the game, which is actually bad when you consider the game lasts around 6 hours. Even with doing those parts again and again and exploring, and this being the enhanced edition, the one with additional zones, it took me 6 hours to finish it, and that's just a no-go for a game that costs... It doesn't cost a lot. It costs 20 euros, but you can get Hollow Knight for 15 euros and you can play it for 20 hours. Or you can get Bloodstained, the new one, Bloodstained Ritual of the Night. It's amazing, has many more RPG mechanics, really good story. I didn't finish it yet and I already played it for 4 or 5 hours. I'm not even, I think that I'm only now scratching the surface. Only beat 2-3 bosses. It's amazing. Which leads me into the part that I really dislike about this game. It's the story. The story of this game is just too simple. Ori is, I guess, a leaf or a tree spirit. It gets saved by this fat bird. It's a sparrow, I guess, although it looks more like an owl, but again, I'm not a bird expert, I don't know. And the tree kind of looks for that, and the tree dies for some reason. You later on find out that the tree dies because this huge black owl, which is the antagonist of the whole game, stole this light from a tree, and everything started dying because of it. And why did that happen? It happened because the owl was hunting to feed its young, and the tree literally killed all of its young. And I'm like, oh yeah, you know, that's really good. I actually sympathize with the antagonist. And turns out this, and spoiler alert here, if you don't want me to spoil the end, just stop now. Are they gone? Okay, they are gone. Anyway, for you that want spoilers. In the end, turns out the owl still had one egg, and it was constantly protecting that one. And I'm like, oh yeah, you know, like I understand, you know, maybe Ori's gonna have to run, and later when the tree's restored, everything's gonna be good. But no, in the end, the sparrow, the mother of Ori, comes to like protect it, and the owl looks at it like, oh, you know, your compassion fills me with compassion too, and I'm gonna help everybody. And it literally goes, like, instead of saving its young, which was being swallowed by a volcano, it flies into the tree to save Ori, and basically to save the people that killed already its offspring, and just leave the last egg that it had to cook. And why? Just to save the people that actually destroyed them. It's like, what the hell? And why? Because it's Ori hug its foster mother. I'm not being cynical here, although I maybe a bit, but if I was the bird, I would have let him die. Like, just go save your... It would have been understandable, but no. In the end, everything is light. It's restored. And the egg, actually, of the main antagonist, it survives, and it started cracking in the last 5 seconds. And that's it. Everybody's alive. Nothing happened during the game. Basically reversed everything everything that was bad. Except for the main antagonist, who was really stupid. So, yeah, that is why I gotta call this video Ori an almost great game. Because it's almost great, it does not deserve the 96-97% it has on Steam. But that's just my opinion. And yeah, thank you for sticking for 7.5 minutes with me and listening through. If you did, like the video, share it with your friends, tell everybody. And yeah, if you wanna see more of my videos, subscribe. And again, thank you so much for watching. Goodbye.